Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the author, Andrew Snorton, and you are joining me for the Fast 15. This is where each and every Wednesday, usually a little bit after 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we take about 15 minutes, give or take a few, to kind of pause, check up, check in, enjoy a short reading, and then close out on a positive note. So to stay connected with me, make sure to add me on Facebook at the page Author Andrew Snorton. Make sure to add me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Author A. Snorton. You may email me at authorsnorton@gmail.com if you have requests for autographed copies of any of the books, updated information on the audiobooks to get on the email list, which goes out twice a month, speaking engagements, things along those lines. And when you add me on Instagram at Author A. Snorton, click on the link in the bio. It'll take you straight to my Press and Media, so you can download a copy of the Press and Media Kit for any outlets looking for interviews, as well as all the other magazines, podcasts, radio shows I've been able to come on. So thank you so much for taking and making the time. As we always do, we want to take a moment to kind of pause and check up on people who might not be doing well. We know that there are people that are living with and working through physical health, mental health, things going on, other things going on internally, things going on, family, friends, loved ones, community, your job, lack thereof, things along those lines. And we know that there are people going through some challenges, definitely. So we definitely want to send a word of encouragement to anyone that's really going through a tough time right now. Don't think that people don't care. There are people that do care, and know that you have every right to feel any type of anger, hurt, frustration, pain, disappointment, but you owe it to yourself to go ahead and pivot from it, learn from it, grow from it, and continue to be the great person that you're destined to be. So whether it calls for professional help, informal help, changing your surroundings, things along those lines, definitely sending a word out to you. By the same token, there are people who are doing extremely well. There are some good things happening to good people, and there's some great things that people have been praying for, working towards, things that are coming to fruition, things that are just kind of happening unexpectedly. And we want to applaud you for the good things that are happening for your professional growth, your community growth, your personal growth. Definitely celebrate. You know what you've had to work through or be led through in order to get there. Don't over celebrate, but definitely make sure that you enjoy those moments, savor those moments, and build on them to continue doing great things. But in the meantime, let's not forget about those who might be going through something. And speaking of going through something, our selection for today is going to come from my book written on baseball, Nothing Minor, hardcover, available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all that type of thing. But I want to pull a quote that I've liked, that I've definitely used before, and I want to make sure things along those lines. So let's see who I want to pull from for today. I think I know who I want to use, and this one is really, really important. Give me just a moment. Okay, since this is coming from chapter 3, this is my interview, part of my interview with Triston Casas, who's part of the Boston Red Sox system. So for people who aren't familiar with baseball, you have major leagues, which is your top level. Then in the minor leagues, you have AAA, which is just a level below, Double A, Single A. Those are pretty much the main minor league designations. So this was when he was in Single A as part of the Boston Red Sox system. He's still a part of the Boston Red Sox system, probably like their number 2 prospect, and he will probably, in all likelihood, get a call up later on this year. But I want to read this quote that I've used before when it comes to losing. And people are like, loser this, loser that. But actually, I did interview him right after the team lost a game, and this is what he said when it comes to his perspective on losing. He says, when it comes to losing, he concludes, we either learn or we win. Now, a lot of us have heard the adage that losing teaches you different things that winning doesn't. Part of taking a loss is you don't want to experience that situation again. Excuse me. I think another thing when it comes to taking an L, you learn there's things you have to do differently. You might have to make adjustments to your approach. There might be additional things you need to learn, but it also gives you better perspective on winning. And when you think about it, the very beginning of each time that we talk, I know there's people out there taking wins and taking losses out there. That's why I acknowledge first people who are going through challenges. Hey, look, you have every right to feel anger, disappointment, frustration, but you don't want to be stuck there, because the longer you stay stuck there, guess what? You internalize it and you take on, I don't want to say a defeatist attitude, but an attitude and a mindset that's not designed to win or be victorious. And by the same token, when you do experience that win, there are things that you learn from it, but you definitely learn and look back at what you've had to work through in order to get there. So at the time that Tristan said this as a 19-year-old, we either learn or we win. You do learn a lot from your losses. I learn a lot from losses I've taken, defeats that I've had to work through professionally, personally, things along those lines, and understand there's still more that I need to continue to learn. But in continuing to learn, guess what? I'm going to get better. And the better I get is going to show up in so many different ways, shapes, or forms. And I think for others, it's just a reminder, lessons are part of life. Losses are part of life. And again, we have every right to feel some kind of way, but the longer we're stuck feeling some kind of way, we set ourselves up for having to dig out of a deeper hole. So when you hear this at the time from a 19-year-old giving perspective about wins and delays to winning or losses or whatever, there are definitely lessons that are learned. I think the biggest thing, learn what you need to do differently, what you need to do better, what will be better aligned with your growth professionally, personally, community-wise, for those people who are people of faith, growing in your faith, growing in just, your larger growth. And if you're not learning every day, if you're not growing every day, then there's some things you definitely need to work on. So that's our quote for the day, coming from the book Nothing Minor, the hardcover book focusing on my baseball coverage. So as we get ready to wind down, a couple of things I'm really, really excited about. June 11th from 9 to 11 a.m. Central Time, so 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us online through for the Black Writers Workspace for the Pen Posse. The topic of the panel that the panel is going to cover is going to be on authenticity with your writing. So I'm excited to be one of the authors selected for that. So shouts to that amazing team at Black Writers Workspace for doing great programming and giving authors like me the opportunity and platform to speak. June the 18th, join me at Miller Park in Bloomington, Illinois. It's actually from 12 to 6. I originally had it from 10 to 6, but 10 is when we have to be there to set up. So from 12 to 6 p.m. at Miller Park in Bloomington, Illinois. Join me for the Juneteenth Festival. I'm one of the authors that'll be participating, so excited about that. June 19th for Alpha and Omega Apostolic Church in Bloomington. I'll be speaking there for their service, so June 19th, very excited for that. Later that day, June 19th, join me in Lincoln, Illinois for their Juneteenth festival. I'll be one of the authors that will be participating and one of the speakers, so definitely thankful to the Hunt Foundation for extending that invite to me. June 25th, I know, surprise, surprise, in Bloomington, Illinois, Bob's Beat Books from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll do a book signing there, so I'm very grateful for the good people in Bloomington, Normal, Lincoln. So if you're in those areas or can get to those areas, I know folks in Chicago, it's only like an hour and a half, hour, 45-minute drive. Champaign, not that far. Peoria, not that far. Make sure to connect with me. The next edition of the Conversation Corner, we're pushing it back to Wednesday, June 15th. It'll definitely have a Juneteenth feel to it, as I'll have a couple of guests who are doing Juneteenth events to speak. So you definitely want to check that out, and check out the commercial breaks, as we'll have notifications for Juneteenth events going on literally across the country. So we might not be able to cover every event, but we're going to cover what events we can. Shouts to the folks at Status Network Live TV doing great work. And so we will be back on for June 15th. Got a couple things that we'll work on between now and then, but looking forward to being back there. Other things are coming up July the 9th from 1 to 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Join me at the Negro Southern League Museum in Birmingham, Alabama. I'll be doing a book signing to benefit the museum. It'll just feature the book Nothing Minor, my book on baseball, but we do have a chapter and acknowledgement on the great work of the museum. So a percentage of the on-site sales will go back to the museum, and they're going to have the book available in their store so you can continuously support. So definitely shouts to the amazing people at the Negro Southern League Museum. Those are like the main things coming up between now and the end of the month for beginning of July. We got some stuff on the horizon for August, October, September, a couple other things. So we're really thankful and grateful for everybody supporting. So as we get ready to wrap up, remember to stay connected with me. Add me on Facebook at the page Author Andrew Snorton. Add me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Author A. Snorton. For requests for speaking engagements, autographed copies of the books, merchandise, any of that type of stuff, email me at authorasnorton@gmail.com, and that includes the e-newsletter that goes out just twice a month, the first and third week of the month. And make sure to add me on Instagram at Author A. Snorton. Click on the link in the bio to go to my press and media so you can catch up on all the interviews, things along those lines. There's should be a couple more interviews coming out real soon. I'm really excited about those opportunities. So as I always say, just to close out, whether small or big, a victory is a victory. Whether slow or swift, movement is movement. So remain victorious. Keep it moving positively and productively. And until next time, y'all, take very good care. I look forward to seeing you real soon.